All right. So this talk's going to be a little different from the others. Martin just gave a very nice background and uh, and theoretical kind of talk, and we've had observation talks, and there's going to be practical ones about how to analyze data, like the one Dario gave, and the one coming right after me too. So this one's going to be more practical. It's kept very short, and it's just about what's going to happen to all the stuff that we have at the SOFIA Science Center. Ultimately, like the banner behind me is from one of our booth exhibits. We're clearing all that stuff out, and there's in that same spirit, we're closing out the mission as follows. We had our last flight on September 28th of last year. It was really a very good last year of the mission, I have to say. We have a number of closeout tasks that we have to do during this year, during 2023. One of them is reprocessing all the science data from cycles 5 through 9. The other one is some outreach activities, including this school. We have newsletters. We're going to have a science meeting at the AAS in Albuquerque, and that's supposed to say June 2023. Sorry about that. Well, oh yeah, we also went to the AAS in January 2023, but we have another meeting in the AAS in June of 2023. And we'll have a final webinar where we'll just have a longer version of this, a longer and more detailed version of this. We're making our new website, and we're improving the way that'll appear when it's at its ultimate home, and that's what this talk is about. We have a lot more that we could do. We can't have the plane back anymore. It is disabled. It won't fly ever again. But we do have a lot to do in terms of improving the data quality, and we have asked NASA if they would consider funding more of that, and that's under consideration right now. The website. Uh, so right now, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a semi-live attempt at a demo here. So our current website is this one. That has been our one-stop shop for all SOFIA information. Oh yeah, I forgot I have to share differently. Just one moment, please. To share my whole screen. Bum, 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 bum. Stop sharing screen. Okay. Yeah. So this has been our website here. Uh, it starts out with a lot of cool science results that you can go through, and then there was an emphasis on proposing and observing. That was the main thing that we cared to get to our observers. How to analyze data, the instruments, publications, events, multimedia. So that's what our website looks like now. Now, much of this is going to transfer to Ursa. Go back to PowerPoint. And here is, so here's what it looks like at Ursa. So it's very different. This is the archival version. So what we're doing now is we're making a new version of this, keeping this same general format, but we're updating it. And then we're also going to have links to what is now our current website. So the idea is to have it in the format and have the most critical information for archival researchers readily available, but to lose as little as possible from our current website. We just need to remove a lot of what information that will become anachronistic, like how to propose and when will the next proposal deadline be, and when are the next talks at the Science Center. Because sadly for us, all that stuff is ending. Okay. So in terms of the upgrades to the website that we're doing before the website transition, one of them is we're making improved web pages for all the legacy programs, and we actually have drafts of those. And I believe this, Leslie, you can correct me, but I believe this is live on our current website already. So these are, and we generalized it to be not just the legacy, but all of the large SOFIA programs. So, um, so here they are, like Hi Gal. So now if you click on that, mm, 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 there it is. We'll get a page like this, and this will exist at URSA once we do the transfer. So this is a new page that we made as part of our closeout work. Well, mostly Dave Neufeld made it, but we just implemented it on our website. And that is intended to be an easy way to look at the data from that legacy program. Okay, and then eventually it's going to replace what's here uh, on the URSA homepage or URSA SOFIA homepage. All right, so we're doing that. And then, yes, like I said before, making a non-anachronistic version of our website and porting that. All right, so these were stills in case I couldn't get the live thing to work. All right. Um, in terms of the data archive, we already are using the Infrared Science Archive, URSA, at IPAC as the SOFIA archive. So there's no real transition there, except that we're upgrading the data products uh, for cycles 5 through 9. So the actual archive looks like this. All right, and it's very easy to use. I don't actually remember if any of our talks specifically go into this, but it's very easy to use, and hopefully is familiar. And obviously, while we're here, we're glad to help. And then there's the URSA help desk, and there are YouTube videos with tutorials about how to use the interface. All right, as a reminder, there's our different levels of data products. This is for just for quick reference. The level 4 being the highest processed, and that's for when we have many images that cover the same area or different wavelength ranges of the same place. And in terms of what's available via the searchable archive, the one that I just flashed on the screen, there are some that aren't available. That includes basic science, which is sometimes called Cycle Zero. Those observations made with our first two commissioned instruments, they were done as shared risk. They were done before we had a pipeline in place. We were not funded to even do the data processing for SOFIA data at that time. We did eventually obviously make a pipeline, but to get these old data through it would take a significant amount of time, and that work is not funded. The Hippo data, uh, so that's our occultation camera. It does simultaneous two-color visible light observations at high speed. That instrument, it was designed for occultations and for observations like exoplanet and occultation. The general principle of observers is don't mess with the data at all, just use the raw data. So in that spirit, we never made a pipeline for Hippo. So it's just it's available in the archive, but pretty much as a dump of files. And then there's commissioning data, which won't go through the pipeline, and we treat that like basic science. So that one there's going to be just a big stack of those data available. Now, eventually, the concept of cycles will become irrelevant, but I put together this table to help people out because if you might see a reference to a cycle in a proposal or whatever and want to know how to get data from it. And these are the first and last flight takeoff dates for each cycle. And yeah, this can be useful when you hear a paper or a proposal mention cycle and you want to know what date range to look for in the archive. And then also for fun, I put which bases we launched SOFIA from during each cycle, and it's fun as a reminder that we went to a lot of places during this amazing mission. Most were from the home base in Palmdale, California. We avoided some military exclusion zones. That's the little holes here. We flew out of Stuttgart in Germany, out of Santiago in Chile, out of Papeete in French Polynesia, and our home away from home was in Christchurch, New Zealand, the same as the Antarctic base or Antarctic access base. So those are the things that I had to report. If you have any questions about the closeout or obviously about what I talked about, please let me know. That's it.
Thank you so much, Bill. It's a bit saddening to listen this talk, but it happened anytime.
Yeah.
Anyway, we actually have quite a lot of time for QA if you want to ask a question. Um, I still don't see any raised hands or any questions in the chat window.
I do want to encourage people to ask questions. You don't have to ask questions of this because this was mostly a political one, but of the science questions. Don't be shy. I saw there's like 50 people on. Uh, the speakers will be glad to hear from you. Even there's no dumb questions. Just to make that clear.
Exactly. We have 6 minutes for questions. There should be some questions.
There is actually a question.
There's a question in the chat window, and it's Mireya Diaz. And Maria is asking for, could you perform a small demonstration how to obtain data from the website? Thanks.
Yes. So I should be still sharing screen. So I'm hoping that
Yeah.
you see here. So it would help if you give me an example. So while you're typing one, I'll just do one here. So go ahead and give me an example of one that you want, and I'll just do one here. Let's say that we want all the data that was taken by, like you saw someone give a talk at a conference, and you want to know what was this data that they were presenting. Um, so if you put in someone's name, like here, one of our power users was Xander Thielens. Let's see if it works now with last name only.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, then you have to say all sky because we're not specifying a position, and then you can put in a proposer's name. I will say that this does take a little bit of time, what the issue is. But eventually it works. Don't bail on it. Is this at least once a week? So did I get an example to try?
Yeah, Zander has probably a lot of data.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's why, because maybe you have to choose one of the instruments, maybe like Great or Forecast.
that's true. But I have noticed that the interface is not speedy. So even
Yeah,
light
Yeah,
I
queries do
think
take a little time.
it's Xender related issue because he's a lot
yeah,
of data proposal.
So there it is.
there's another.
Yep. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Remember, don't bail. I know everyone wanted to bail, and I used to do that too. But please be patient. And you're right. I mean, so he has observations with multiple instruments, um, uh, and many proposals. But the good thing is that you can see what the archive looks like. And unfortunately, you can see that it's a little slow. It's a very fully used system down there. So I know with Xes, he did a spectral survey of hot cores, very bright mid-infrared sources. Yeah, and I know with Great, he has multiple programs mapping C++. So you just have to bear with it. Temptation is to stop. And when necessary, we can go to next speaker, but this is the process of getting the data.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
we're having a break after you, Bill, so we
yeah.
have some time.
I can just leave this running, and it will stop during the break sometime. So, did we have any other questions?
Yeah, there was a question about recordings. That was from Johan Londono, and he was wondering about, will the call recordings be available? If so, where can I find them? And I think Leslie replied him.
Yes, all the
Yeah.
recordings will be available on the school website next week, and we'll be sending out an email to all the registrants, letting them know where to find those recordings.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thanks. So here are all of the XE's observations by TLNs. The pink ones are still proprietary. I'm not logged in, so I'm not. So this is what you get, what anyone gets, not logged in. But that'll be cleared up. That'll be cleared out soon. Looks like it was taken in on April 27 of last year, so in 8 days or so that should get cleared out. Very soon that should be cleared out as non-proprietary. And so when you wanted, if you wanted to download data, like let's say we wanted to download this set of observations here, you can click the different observations and prepare download. Oh, I hate the one with all the folders. I recommend saying flattened, and that's it. Then send it to the background. It'll make a thingy up here, and you just wait till it's done. And I must have an old query in there too. Oh no, there it is. It is done. And then download, and it comes out as a zip file. If it's a truly gigantic thing, you might have to run a set of curl commands to get all the different zip files and put them together. But shouldn't be too bad for people to use. And if not, this is a very well used service at URSA, so you should be able to get help from them and from us while we're here. I hope that helped. That was just a quick demo.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bill. Now we have 15 minutes break. No, actually, we have another question. I searched for data for certain object. It was NGC 6572, but there was none in the website. Does that mean SOFIA simply didn't observe the object?
Often, but I will say that you can sometimes get tricked. Let me tell you one thing to do before giving up on something like that. If you go to the object position and NGC 65, what is that, a planetary nebula?
I think you're not sharing your screen, Bill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I did stop. Let me go back to sharing. This won't take long, so I'll squeeze this in while we can. Yeah, NGC 6572. One thing you can do, so by default, only the high level data products are checked. So if for some reason it's data that have never been processed all the way through to its final products, like guaranteed time data that have not been published for GREAT, you have to check all the products, and then you can find out if there's any lower level data. And by the way, the same thing applies to JWST data at MAST. The same trick you have to do. And I'm just checking that one object, but that's the only that's the only thing that I know trips you up. Otherwise, we probably really didn't do that object. And if you think it was observed because you saw someone talk about it, and it's not in the archive, definitely send something to our help desk or to the URSA help desk. They're going to have to start taking these questions soon too, and we'll dig it up. All right, and find out what's wrong. There shouldn't be holes like this. There's some chance that it was done as a commissioning observation, or if it was done in basic science. Remember, those data aren't in the searchable archive. I was listing that as one of the caveats. While this search is going, we'll just say if it might have been done.
So, Bill, as a clarification question here, if in URSA you ask for a source name, does it automatically do a area search as well? Because as you and many well know, there are many synonyms to targets.
Yeah, it is a cone search by default. So it does a resolution using Simbad of the name to get its coordinates. So whatever Simbad has for the coordinates, then it does a cone search, and the default radius, I think it's 10 arc minutes, will be there. And obviously you can change that. But yes, it is not an alphabetical search by the name that you typed in, because that, as you mentioned, is fraught with its own issues.
Uh,
Okay.
okay.
It's slow,
I think
and if anyone wants to take a break, take a break.